Well, thank you, Chair. Ms. Skye, I'm really struggling with understanding this divide that I've been hearing through testimony for the past several witnesses and days. We've heard testimony that there is a difference between sex work and human trafficking, adding the layer of the colonial history of Canada and its impacts on Indigenous people. How do we balance a response? We're hearing two sides. How do they come together, or how do you work on these two approaches simultaneously?
Yeah, I think that's really important, and it's a huge struggle, right? Because there's different people who have different experiences and different advocates and organizations that view how do you best support women. And I think it's important to recognize that because there is this, an emerging dichotomy between the types of services that people are willing to access, there's an increasing stigma around certain women's organizations and certain support networks that don't necessarily meet or are accessible to women who feel like they are who are engaging in sex work and who are looking for, oversight and regulation. And I think if we're looking at, what kind of policy approaches, what kind of regulation might exist around different types of places or different types of industries where there's a suspicion that there is trafficking or exploitation that exists within them, whether it be massage parlors, strip clubs, the like, that are legal and do operate under municipal regulations across Canada, that we look towards a strong regulation, that we look towards looking at sex workers as workers and ensuring that they have workers' rights, that they have stigma-free access to employment standards and employment supports that are accessible for workers, that there are ways that they can connect and have barrier-free services, and that if we do have an interest, if we do have a genuine interest in supporting women who have this experience, then again, it comes back to the other supports and services that are necessary that exist outside of, making it less safe for other women to engage in sex work. So we're looking at things like, basic income, accessible services, that there's an increase in the number of shelter services across the country. Right now, there are over 600 First Nations in Canada that don't have access to a women's shelter, don't have women's shelters in their communities. And so those are the kinds of solutions that need to be balanced with the kind of moral judgment that comes with this discussing this topic.